Good morning, and welcome to the Olympian Table, where we talk about real estate, we talk about life, social issues, economics, a little bit of investing, everything across. We just try to give our opinions, which is what it is, on this channel to be able to equip you with some information out there in the free world. We don't claim to be any kind of investment strategist of any sorts. So all the information, again, from us is going to be opinion. Please share this podcast with your friends, your family, whoever is out there, because we want to make sure that we can grow our audience and be able to give this beneficial information to the entire world. So, I'm typically joined by my fellow Olympian, Stephen, but he's not here this morning, so I have been graced with the pleasure of having a special guest on. Carrie Andrade is joining me this morning at the Olympian Table, and she'll be kind of bringing her spice to the mic to let us know kind of her thoughts and views on whatever it is that we talk about. So I'd like to give you, Carrie, an opportunity to kind of tell the people who you are, just whatever you want to share about being here at the table. We thank you for being here with us, by the way.
Thank you for having me. I've always listened to podcasts, never thought I would be in one. So thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Yes, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about you.
Well, okay. So I've been in your team for about 3 months.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Close to it.
Yeah. Been learning a lot. I just got licensed a few months ago, and I am currently working on getting my feet up. I am from Venezuela, so I speak Spanish.
So, and for all of you that are watching, it's like, wait a minute, you're from Venezuela, you speak Spanish? Yes, she does. Carry on.
So I even remember the first day of our interview, when I said that, you're like, oh, okay, all right, she's hired.
Yes, that was a plus. That is definitely a plus in this industry, being able to be bilingual. Which you are more than just bilingual, but speaking multiple languages, that puts you head and shoulders above many others that are out there. So, yes, that was definitely a plus. That was in your favor, for sure.
I am Chinese, so when people look at me, most of the times they ignore what I'm saying. They just stare at me, and they go, "Oh yeah," and they don't know which language to reply.
Right.
So yeah. So before this, and let's just go back to where we started. I graduated from the University of Houston.
Go Blues.
I study international business. And I thought I would be flying by now somewhere, in Europe, Asia, doing a whole bunch of business deals. And that didn't turn out to be what I thought. And so at some point in my career, I thought, okay, let me see, what am I going to do? And mortgage just came right through my mind somehow.
So you got thrust into mortgage by chance.
By chance.
Okay, so we were, it's okay, we'll take it. We were a second thought. The mortgage world, it's tough in these mortgage streets at times, but she's here. She's in it. She's come to the dark side, and we're pleased to have you be a part of the team and for joining us ultimately here as a new loan officer. So what do you think about the experience right now, being a new loan officer, being your homeowner, and the market that we're in now where you have interest rates going up, prices of homes going up? What would you give, what kind of advice would you give to a new person out there trying to get on a ladder and to buy a home?
Well, so and to the point, I thought about mortgage because I was a first time home buyer.
Gotcha.
That's how it started. I had no knowledge whatsoever when we were buying our first home. We were just, taught to a certain point, when you rent, you throw money away. You need it back as soon as you can. And I think to all those people out there that are trying to buy a home, I think regardless of what market we're in, if you're ready the rates are going to be whatever the rates are.
Right.
You're not going to wait. You don't know what's going to be next year. You don't know what's going to be next month. Well, if you're ready and you are financially conditioned.
Go with it. I couldn't
You
agree
can.
more.
Mhm.
I couldn't agree more. People always ask, well, what's the perfect time to buy? There is a perfect time. There's it's and to your point, you hear renting. Oh, you're just throwing your money away. I always tell people, listen, you're not throwing it away because you have somewhere to live, but it's definitely not the best investment at all. Hands down, buying a home, much better investment. Renting, some people like it because it's short term. They can just get up and leave whenever the lease is over. But it's really not a good use of the money that is before you. But again, I agree. The interest rates are going to be the interest rates. You don't drive your car in the morning, right?
Mhm.
And then you pass the gas station and it was $3, and because that's about where we are now. And then you come
$3.
$3. You're not paying $3?
I am not. Well, close to 4.
Oh, I mean, I'm giving the average on average.
I drove right past by Galleria.
Oh yeah, it's getting up there. But let's just say you drive
It's
by this
almost matching
morning,
mortgage interest
three,
rate.
right? 3.59 this morning, right? So this evening when you drive by, and the gas is now $4, you can't
You're not
complain
gonna
and say, "Hey,
I'm not driving.
no, I'm not buying that." It was 3.59 this morning. No, you just get the gas because that needle is going to be on E if you don't get it. So I think we have been kind of conditioned here recently to interest rates being below 4%. Most folks that are buying right now have never seen interest rates above 4%. They've been low for so long. I will say that they are still historically low. I have been in this business for a long time, and I can remember selling 14 and 15% interest rates and they were smiling. That's just that's what it was. That's what you
That
you
was
got. Oh yeah, absolutely. Before the meltdown, meltdown. Shoot, rates got to 6-7% or so, but I don't know. I think they kind of got to this 4% mark a little faster than people anticipated, but I don't think we've seen the last of the rise. I think it'll come. So to your point, if you're looking to buy, don't wait. Time is now. Call Carrie.
Yes.
Call her. She can help you out with that. So, you being from Venezuela, you have a different. How long you been here?
13 years.
Okay, so you've been here 13 years. So she got here when she was 2.
No.
Oh, sorry. No. She's older than 15. Sorry.
14.
So
14.
She got here 14. So it's would you say, from what you can recall, from the time that you got here, was it what you expected? We know, I guess, growing up in another country, when we visited other countries, we talked to the locals, and they talk about America, they talk about what's intriguing and what's exciting and so on and so forth. And you want to hear kind of what their perception is of the country. And many times you hear people talk about Miami, they talk about New York, they talk about Los Angeles and those kind of, because those are the things that are on television, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you got here, was it what you
Not what you expected.
Not what you expected.
I didn't
Better or
expect a Hot Wheel city. Tons of freeway. Never in my life have I seen so many freeways. I come from a third world country where there's just 2 lanes and everybody's trying to get
where they gotta go.
Yes. But to your point, it was not what I expected, because it comes in phases. When you immigrate, I don't remember exactly the definitions, but they call it like the melting pot, right? You put all these vegetables in, and you can clearly see which ones are carrot, which ones are potatoes, right? But as you are boiling down the pot, it starts kind of blending in.
Sure.
Right? So when I came in as a carrot, I was like, okay, I don't fit in. I don't fit in here. I started right, and the age has to do a lot too. I was in my teens, right? So I left all my friends, and so I felt like I left a whole life, right? I didn't want to come, and okay, fine. We'll just be temporary. We'll see if we like it or not. Though my parents never asked if it was okay. It's like, okay, we're moving. There's tons of opportunities here, and I am so grateful today. It is. I don't think I'll be able to live anywhere else. This is certainly a land of opportunity, and this country has welcomed me in many ways. In many ways.
Well, see, that's and many times I think those of us that are born here native, we take that for granted. We take the opportunities that are given to us as if we're just entitled. You should because and you have someone that's come here and living in another country and seeing what you're dealing with and being so thankful and grateful, having gone through the proper channels. We just get here, we just want everything given to us.
I don't know. We're baby. We're baby in so many ways. In the education system, in just that part, you never see teachers or counselor after you to make sure you're doing okay. It's something that comes from you. If you don't want to go to school, that's fine. But here, there's so many resources.
Right.
So many, and most kids take for granted, and because they were raised that way. The tools are there, right? It's like every day you see something and you have it, you don't want it. Right. But when you don't have it, there's a desire that, okay, I want it. You see other people having it, I want that. I think I came in 9th grade, high school, right? Mm-hmm. First year. And in my first year, they started talking to me about college. I didn't even know.
Didn't know what college was.
I was on university. What do you mean? Oh, so just, like a department where they just focus on one thing. And then there's this humongous building where, and in my town, Valencia, it's just such a small town. It's like this one university everybody goes to.
Right.
Right. And so when they told me about college, like, oh, you can study what you like. Okay.
Now, in Valencia, when everybody's going to that same school, was it was the government paying for that, or did you have to pay out of your pocket for that?
No. I went to private school.
Okay.
Private Catholic school. Schools that go public school are mainly your parents.
Wow. And here we are, and we want the president to pay for our student loans. Forgive my student loans.
Oh, let's not talk
about
about
the student loans. Pay.
Let's not talk about
I am not an advocate for student loan forgiveness, and I'm not. I say if you went and you got a loan, pay the loan back. It's your responsibility. No one forced you to go. It wasn't mandated. Took money out to do it, pay it back. That's just what you should do, just in good faith. But the second reason is a selfish reason. I paid mine off. So if I paid mine off, you got to pay yours off. Otherwise, I want my money back. So it's just not fair to me it's like, okay, so you do student loan forgiveness. So what do you do for those folks that have made payments and restitution for their student loans? I got another friend of mine. I'm still paying. We got a small balance on my wife's. I could probably write a check to pay it off, but I refuse. I'm just going to make the small little payment each month. But we took the money out. We took the loan out. So you got to pay it.
So there's always two sides, right?
Sure.
Where do we find balance? Because I am not and
Forgiven?
But there's that tiny line. How do you find balance? How do you that society?
Well, here, my thought with it is the student loans aren't the problem. The cost of the education is the problem. It's entirely too expensive. Come to a regular, like a public university, like a
University of Houston, versus a Rice. The cost per semester, or let's just say call it per year. Probably costs, on average, I would say anywhere from maybe 15 to 18,000 a year to go to U of H, right? You go to Rice, you're talking about possibly 4 times as much just to go. And they're in the same city. They have access to the same curriculums. Can you go to Rice and get a business degree? Absolutely. Can you go to U of H and get a business degree? Absolutely. So why am I paying more for this one than I am for that one? Because there's a fraternity, a camaraderie with the Rice family. You get a degree from Rice, oh man, you probably going to get a job at this place because we look out for our Rice heads, or whatever they call them. We look out for them. That to me, same thing. SMU, TCU, those private universities, Baylor. You're looking at upwards of $60,000 to $70,000 per year to go to these schools because they're private universities, and there's really no cap and no regulation on how much it costs. And then you get out with your business degree, and you go and you work at Macy's because it's not special. You're not special. You don't have a specialized degree. If you're not in some kind of STEM category, I mean, you're really it's truly. I won't call it a waste of money, but you're in the pool with everyone else.
I think for me, I don't think it's the cost, it's education. I think for most people, it's what you're getting for that education. We see so many graduates that come out of school and they're serving somewhere, some local restaurant.
Right.
Because that's what I think, that the cost doesn't equal to what they're getting with that degree.
Well, that's my point.
And we remember, we talked about this. You finish high school 17, 16 years old. What do you know?
Nothing. Nothing.
You're told you go to college. Okay. No, and they try to pick something they think.
Right.
And they haven't found yet identity, right? Okay. Very times. Yes, some people, doctors, their parents are doctors. Yes, I want to struggle. Stages where 19 gap. That's why where we find balance. I don't think we.
Well, we won't, as long as there's
never.
private universities available. Even it's just the school periods, just what the cost is. I think it's expensive. It's expensive, and you think about these universities that have these stellar 5-star athletic programs, football specifically. Let's just take University of Alabama. Okay,
That's where you went.
let's just
Okay.
go University of Alabama, right?
Those guys, now Tuscaloosa, whether you know or not, I mean, it's not a booming metropolis of like a Houston or anything, but they're the University of Alabama is there. I need to make sure I got my research done. And then there's also Hillman College. It's in Tuscaloosa. 2 schools, one historically black college, the other PWI is what they call a predominantly white institution. Okay, these places. What you deal with is if your school is bringing in revenue through athletics or exposure or whatever the case is, it's almost like I can put a higher premium on the cost to go there because, you know what? We have it's almost like you're making more money so I can charge more money when you're looking at the athletic portion of it. It doesn't make sense to me.
We both agree it shouldn't be free.
No, should not be
Right.
free.
Okay.
No one will appreciate it if it's free.
You think it should be regulated more?
I just think it should be regulated.
That's really what, as far as, and as much as they want to say, oh, we give opportunity for those that are in need, or if you need financial aid or whatever the case is, You have some people that can go to school for free completely. For instance, those that are in foster care that were adopted, oh, they get a free education. I think that's an excellent program. Do that. Um, Veterans, they can go to school, for free, with their GI Bill and pay for it for there. But the rest of us knuckleheads that decide we want to go, we have to pay. But not only do we have to pay, we get the same degree, so to speak, unless you go to some specialized institution, get the same degree. But because you went to this school, we get the same one. Yours cost you 200,000.
Oh, they're all
Mine cost you
these
50.
tiers.
Mine cost me 50 because I went to little school here, and when we're looking at it, it's the same thing. The paper says the same, business, blah blah blah, and we're in the same boat. No one is looking at it differently. I mean, it just, to me, it doesn't make sense for it to cost so much. I think that's where the issue lies.
Well, then
And I think, well, and to your point, and I agree to a certain degree, but then it's like everything else. Say, I am a first-time home buyer, you're a first-time home buyer, right? And you're driving an old car, I don't know, a 1995 Honda Accord.
Oh, those are good.
Those are good.
Those are classics.
I had a Civic for a lot of years, and it's still up and running. And it's just perception. It's perception. That human beings, we are that way. We're emotional, and I think, you and I are going buying homes, and we have a real estate agent standing in front of us, and I'm driving a brand new Porsche. Who are they gonna look at?
Well, they're going to look at you.
Because that's the top
layer.
layer. It's the top layer.
Well, see, when you're talking about different.
I know. Education is too.
It's not
They're gonna
tangible.
assume, okay, it is not tangible.
It
but
is not
what
tangible.
people see.
But the Porsche is tangible. I can go and look at it and feel it and
Hey,
drive
I can own
it.
the whole porch.
You can. I can do it.
I could be renting it.
Yes,
and
you
I'm
could be.
returning it.
Exactly. But the education is not a tangible thing. And that's why I think right now, as I'm shifting, you have so many people that they got these get rich quick schemes. It's like that everybody wants to be a YouTube star or Instagram star or OnlyFans now. I know Everett has an OnlyFans page over there, but we just want to make sure that we can just get this money quick because we live in this microwave society and no one wants to work for it.
That is true. Well, and remember when I told you in my page, I post a lot of stuff.
Right.
I can put a lot of story, whatever.
The baby.
Right.
The baby gets all the attention.
Of course. Yes.
And I don't think, and for all those YouTubers, wouldn't you be, if it's easier for you, and let's give them some credit, because to be a YouTuber, it's pretty hard.
It is.
It's pretty hard.
You gotta be diligent and regimented and
Consistency.
disciplined. Yes.
Oh my goodness. And you
It's
gotta
key.
stay up with your game, and there's so many
Absolutely.
competitors. It's not that easy
It
either.
is not easy. Anyone that thinks it easy, it is not. So hats off to those
People. But the fact that it looks easy.
Like it's easy.
Yes.
I'm pulling my phone. Oh,
It
no.
looks easy, so people feel like, oh yeah, I can get me some followers. Unless you're taking your shirt off and showing your body, where that would be, yeah, it's not happening. Or if you got a cute baby or puppy or
Hey, if I don't
something
make
like
it
that.
in the mortgage, I may.
Hey,
We'll have the baby in the podcast.
so what do you do when he grows up, though?
Whenever he grows up, he may have some. I've already put out halfway.
This is
He
true.
may turn out.
This is
he may
true.
not do
This is true.
anything.
I know it happens, but that's where we live. This I don't know. I think the people in our society now have kind of lost that work ethic that our
Whoa,
parents, our
for sure.
grandparents, our everyone before us that worked so hard. We want handout. That's kind of where we live. Everyone likes things for free. Everyone, you take yeah, you got one for free. Okay, cool, that'll work. But for me, there's a sense of worth that you feel when you've done something, accomplished it, and you know that your blood, sweat, and tears has gone into getting it. I'm not with the. I'm not going to call out the organization, but there's an organization where everybody plays, everybody gets the trophy. It's like, oh yeah, they don't keep score. What the heck are you?
And I'm not trying to jump into politics, but we have been
Jump into it. Both feet.
we have been raised to think that free things are good. If it's not given to you free, it's not a good thing. If you're having to pay for it, and I was actually having this conversation with my husband not long ago. People have this perception, and I would say Latino communities, for the most part, they think that if they're getting a consultation and it's not free, and if it's people not doing it for free, it's not out of good will. It's not good faith. And if people are making money off of it, it's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad. You're helping me get this loan, but you get money for it. And anyway, you're supposed to think that I'm going to do it for free and have kids to feed too.
Absolutely.
But because the perception is you're getting money for it and you're making money for it, it's bad. So in Latin America, people with money, with wealth, they're perceived as bad.
And I go, hey, and I see a lot of it. Urge big amount of number country work. Life is hard. That's how politics played. Okay, get things for get it easy.
So
Let me just hand it to you.
So let's unpack that a little bit, right?
So that's how the government makes you dependent on them. When they're giving you everything, when you have, when you try to push away that capitalist type of mentality and bring it in more of the socialist type attitude, it makes you more dependent on the government. So when they decide they want to change the rules or they want to move the goalpost on something, you know what? They just do it because we're giving you something anyways. Prime example. During this whole COVID shutdown piece, which y'all know we have to do for the safety of the country and those
We're paying it now.
Then we are. Hopefully, everyone realizes that we're paying for it now. You're paying more for gas. You're paying more for food. You're paying more for supplies. You're paying more for your houses. You're paying more for your interest rates. Everything that was quote unquote giving to us. Well, I didn't get any of them COVID checks, but I know people were getting all these extra COVID checks. They were getting this unemployment extra, all of that stuff. We're feeling it now. And those that, maybe in the past you had big, large, huge tax refunds, you're probably not going to get all of that as much as you thought you were because there's nothing free. Nothing is free. There is someone that's giving something for what it is that you're giving or that you're receiving for free. And I think that mentality is, to your point, makes us babies. Is that what you said?
And back to it. That's not
right.
At least not allowed to talk.
Really? So there's no economics class required or government class?
There is and sort of bias. You're not allowed to talk to the teacher about, think. This is how it is.
In some ways, that's kind of how it is in the curriculums here. In some ways. Yeah. You don't really get to get into the point where you get a free thinker.
We don't have that election system where we do different voting, right?
Right.
So who's going to get this free stuff?
Of course.
Versus you're going to have to work
of
for
course.
it. Yes. Guess what? We want stronger economy, you're gonna have to do.
Got to
You're
go
gonna
with the
have
free
to
guy.
and know how to make money. Because guess what? That's what's running a company. And all these are based in most for.
For the people.
If
Well,
I'm gonna give
free?
I
And,
might
and job
get a free house.
yes, terms.
Really?
you a free rich, and I'm talking about lower class where they get a lot, and you see past this God and person because nobody else that for them.
That's unfortunate.
That isn't.
So the education piece of it, it's there's so many holes in it, and
Well,
really,
and same here.
oh yeah,
in
that's
the
what I mean.
States, too.
That's what I mean
Remember
here.
we
That's what
talked
I mean
about-
here in the States.
Mhm.
There's so many holes. Prime example: my kids, both of them, when they turned 16, I added them to my American Express card because I've had that card for a long time. So that was going to give them a long trade line history that automatically popped on their credit report and shoot their score to 700. Parents didn't do that for me. They didn't know. They didn't know to do it. But because I work in finance, that's just something that I knew. Once they got to where I can do it, I'm gonna help them. So that now they kind of walk around. And I would say, hey man, make sure you got your stuff. We talk about paying your things on time. They don't really truly talk about credit. They don't talk about the budgeting and the things that you're going to actually do in life. Most of these people don't even know how to write a check, a personal check, where you would write a personal check. Carrie, do you know how to write a check?
I know. Oh yes, I.
Oh, you
know
kind
how
of
to
made
write
a little
check.
face
No,
there.
what-
It
what I-
concerned
what I-
me.
What I wanted to say was, well, those are those high school graduates are where they want to go and how are they gonna balance that?
You're right.
At least when I graduated, W.
PWI.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day, right?
Okay. And my parents, I didn't have. It was, honey, you work, you want to study, or you want to do both, which is fine. We can have to find a way to do it,
Right.
which is what I did. Worked. Thankfully, got married. But got a credit. How okay, yes, you make your payments. But
That's not even in the program. I know they make you take some of these dumb ancillary classes. I had some that I had to take. It was like required to take
I
it.
don't remember one class.
It was ridiculous. It's like, well, what is this class about? It was like the history of the university. Like, that is stupid. Why are we taking this class? But they should have a credit class. That is required.
They should have a mortgage class.
They should have a filing tax return class.
Yes.
They should have
what
those
are you
things.
applying for? I don't know, algebra 2.
Trigonometry. What? Come on, man. I would say geometry. You need that because you need to know how to listen.
Okay.
That refrigerator is not going to fit through that door, bro. Not going to happen.
The phone actually. Do you know
little
you
stuff
can use your phone to
measure it. I
didn't
didn't
know
hear about that. But there's some things you do need, but all this extra that and the area where you get an opportunity to be the freest in your thinking when you go off to school, they put you in this box and you kind of, okay, this is what you got to do. Got to make sure you do this because at the end you're going to get this piece of paper that's going to say that you finished all of this stuff, and you're going to get a job, maybe, hopefully, as a server. It's like, come on. No knock to servers. I love them. Tip your service guys 20% or more all the time.
And anything under 20.
I had a cup of coffee the other day. We're getting all off. Had a cup of coffee yesterday, and my wife and I, $8. And I looked
You
at
pay eight.
it was $8 for two cups of coffee. 2 cups of coffee.
Oh, okay.
2 cups of coffee. And I looked at the bill, man. Even if I do 20%, that's what, $8? $1.60? So you think about those kinds of things. You don't think it's a big deal to tip, but if you're not tipping, well, I know
The wage is like $2.13 still, isn't it? Which is ridiculous to me. Now here's the argument that you'll hear as we transition.
And let me just add this. I was in the restaurant hospitality industry for 12 years. And meaning I started busing at an Asian buffet.
From the mud, you really came out the
When I was
mud.
going to high school, yes.
Right.
Because I didn't know how to speak English. And this is going to turn into something out of it. I was not even supposed to work.
Oh,
I
right.
was 15.
So you were underage?
I was underage.
Is that buffet
But
still
my
open? We
mom-
need to go
that-
report this.
that is- Yes, it's off of I-10. But my mom wanted me to work and see, this is what life costs you.
Right.
And
Kudos to mom.
This is the
I need to meet mom. You need to fly. Where mom is? I need to go fly and meet your mom. I was like, hey, kudos. You did
I would
good.
get all these cash, and I felt like I was loaded. I had a shoebox. And
Really?
I saved, I think, $2,000 the first year. I was still in high school. It work weekends. It was Thursday night, Friday night, and then all day Saturday and Sunday. That's why I wasn't really good at school.
Yeah.
I was having fun
Making money, right? You were changing the money.
Yes.
So, excuse me. The server attitude from some people will be, well, you know what you get paid. Why'd you pick that job? My tipping shouldn't matter on how much you make. That's what you chose to do. So be it. Now, make a little mental note here because I'm going to come back to teachers. But we'll stick on servers right now. The wage for being a server, and from when I can remember interviewing, I've never been a server, but I can remember interviewing, and this was before I had kids, and my son turns 22 on Friday. It was $2.13 then, and it hasn't changed.
You think it should be higher?
Well, here's the thing. I think if it were higher, you would have, I think the people that work in those fields, of course, could make more money. But the dependence on some idiot deciding whether or not they're going to earn my 20% or not would be less effective to the person that's doing the service.
Right.
Because my thought is, we all have a bad day. Everybody has had a bad day. We've had bad weeks. We've had bad months. We have had bad years. So the one time that the server comes in and drops the drinks on your shirt, because that has happened to me.
That has happened to you?
It did. I didn't get upset until the manager was saying, "Oh, we're not going to comp. We'll just comp this." I'm like, "Bro, now you're comping all of this. My whole shirt is tore up, dude." It's like, come on. Anyway, I digress. But they have a bad day. They might be in a bad mood. They may have found out that doggone it, that financial aid loan that they needed for school that they're working during these service got denied. So now they've got to work extra shifts. We don't know what happens with people, what folks carry around. So because they're not 100% to your liking, you decide rather than you giving them a 20% tip, you're going to do 5% because they didn't earn it. That is unfortunate. I think that if you can't tip properly, you shouldn't go out to eat. If you feel like that it's just based on someone's, now don't get me wrong, someone comes and cussing me out or spitting my food, you're not getting my money. I'm sorry, but that's egregious, of course. But someone is doing, a good job, I feel like that's kind of, and that's just my personal opinion.
You know, in Houston a few years ago, and I say a few, but it's been over 10 years, they had a big debate because they wanted to make servers wage to minimum wage. And guess what it turned out? Most people in the industry didn't want that.
They didn't want it.
Because the good servers that know how to serve and have the skills, they are not depending on their hourly wage.
It's the tips.
It's the tips. It's the commission. It's like in the mortgage industry, would you be in the industry if it was a salary? And yes, there are different methods that you can go.
No, I wouldn't. They would have to be a big salary.
But you have states like California, they get $15 an hour.
The servers?
Yeah.
Really? Now, we visited Sydney.
And for there, we went, this is a few years ago, we went, and the practice in Australia is there is no tipping. No tipping. As a matter of fact, if you try to tip, they'll turn it away. But also, what you see on the menu is what you pay. So if it says $20 or $18 or whatever, that's what you pay. But they pay their servers a wage enough to where they give good service, and
or a lot of people were debating if they look at the getting tips, the quality also serving. If everybody is getting the same, hey, I'll serve.
So were they going to take away?
Muffins,
I agree. I agree with that.
You get the taking.
Were they going to take away the tips though, make it a minimum wage and then take away the tips?
But see, this is the gray area.
The industry, the industry does it.
When I came, and I didn't know you had to add the price that you. First, you have to add tax on it, and then you have to add the thing. Why can't you just tell me how much I need to pay?
In Australia, that's what they do. That's what I love. When we would visit, I was like, "This is awesome. I know exactly what I got to pay."
It is. Yeah. They have the tax included.
Right. And do I tip on the tax or do I tip on the regular?
Yes.
It's like, yeah. I just tip on the whole total.
But I think back to where I think the restaurant industry, every high school
to be a server.
Yes.
Serve. That's what we should be anyways, right? We should have a serving attitude toward one another. If we all had a serving attitude toward one another, the world would be a much better place. But we're so selfish. It's about me, mine. What can I get? That's why you have which we're going to be approaching here soon. We get into hurricane season here in June. You're going to have folks, and once something hits the Gulf, toilet paper gone. Water gone because some fool has bought it all up and wants it all for himself. It's like, bro, come on, really? But we're so all about me and us.
I have a minute when I turned my made me events. I had these at the title and happy. Him with so much on how we need.
Right.
I still to this day there is like this 5 foot see something coming. They don't teach.
They don't. Are you teaching your boys that?
I'm trying.
Carry, you gotta carry it on.
Hey,
don't let it start with you.
My 5-year-old does the dishes.
Oh yeah, nothing wrong with that.
I teach.
What about the baby? You putting the baby in there, letting them bust some suds? Get him. Babies love playing in the soap. Put them on the side of that sink and put them in there. Give them a sponge. I don't want to
end up in urgent care because he swallowed too much.
Babies love it, man. Get them in there. Let them understand. Yeah, but no, I agree with you. If we instill those things, it would be better. We would be so selfish, but we are. I'll try to.
You baby your kids. You baby your kids.
We do. We do. To your point, you talked about saving up $2,000, right? But my son, I got him on that. Look, bro, you getting this money? Save some money. Save some money. So as he was getting paid, he would just come and tell me, "Hey, Dad, can you transfer such and such and such
For me. So I said, listen, you got the account, the one I opened for you. You need something yours, right? I said, but banks, not the best. Remember a few weeks ago the lesson, banks aren't the best for your money. Put it somewhere else. So I passed it on down. I told him my
open a college account.
bank account. Oh no, they had an account, but I told him to open a different account. He opened a Fidelity account.
Okay.
So with his Fidelity account, the money that he was saving, I was adding a little. So he paid me for a cell phone bill. Paid me. I just put that in the account. When he paid me. So it was just kind of growing some more cushion for him. So I just transferred almost $2,000 to him so he can open up his account. He didn't do anything extra for that. He does work, but it wasn't like blood, sweat, and tears, underage, child labor law kind of situation. But
if people knew my dishes, I'm not sure if I could be singing.
5-year-olds can do dishes. If they can stand up, if he can tell to sing, he can do dishes. Period. But my point is, the kids they are spoiled, and we do it because we want to make it easier for them than what we had it, and
it treats back to history.
It is.
But I see a lot of people raise those.
Gen Z.
Exactly.
Well, Gen
Because
Z.
we complain about work ethic. We about
Oh my
right?
goodness! Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Okay. Okay. I think it relates a lot back to parenting. I always tell my husband we're always for essence and the reflection.
There are some soft people out here. Everybody's so offended by everything. Can't have an
You saw
opinion
that.
about
Mhm.
anything anymore. And people lean so far to the point to where if we don't agree, hate me. And that is not the truth. That can be no further from the truth than I could even ever imagine. Who am I to hate anyone? I'm but a vessel of screwed up,
ridiculous thoughts of my own. So why am I hating you? We just don't agree. There's different lifestyles and different choices people make that I just don't agree with. But I don't hate them because of it.
Well, and I spend a lot of time in my day-to-day basis to think, how do we get to that point? Do we add in another course in high school where they learn to get along with people? Because what I see most frequently now is that people don't want to deal with people.
They don't. You're right.
They don't want to deal with people. I have nieces and nephews. They don't want to work on a job field where they have to deal with people. And I go, what are you going to do?
Because people exist.
Because I hate people. People are terrible. And to the point I understand. People are rude. People are selfish. How do we bring back humanity into the
How do we?
That's the question. How do we bring back caring and loving one another? There used to be a song that played back in the day. I'm probably aging myself. It was a commercial. Coca-Cola put it out. It was talking about, I'd like to buy the world a Coke. And it was just a little jingle. If I can find it, I'll show it to you later. But it was just one of those things where it talked about connecting with one another. Just buy you a Coke. That's when Cokes were less than $1. They're probably less than 50 cents back then.
Right now, you're buying a Coke.
Exactly. What you buy me this for, fool? I like Pepsi. Like, what? Excuse me for buying you a
What
Coke.
do you like?
Right.
No, I'm asking you, what do you like?
Oh, sodas?
Coca-Cola or Pepsi?
Oh, Coke. This is
All right, we get along.
Yeah. Pepsi. Ugh. No. Right.
Okay.
I don't even
We
know
can
why
continue.
Pepsi exists, but nevertheless, it's an attitude, really truly deciding love people. And whoever where your faith lies, what you believe in, don't matter. You can just love people. Steve and I go back and forth all the time. He's a science guy, you know. He knows I'm Christian, but I have seen that man give the shirt off of his back for people undeserving of what he's given to them more than sometimes I would do. I'm like, man, don't help that fool, but he does it. So you don't have to be, this perfect, being in order to care about people. I just think we just got somewhere where we kind of fell off the rails, like that little code that was written and it got removed somewhere. But we need to get back to it, and it'll start with trying to help people, being able to communicate, being able to share ideas, likes, dislikes, agreements, disagreements. But hey, man, you know what? I still care for you.
I think some time and loss or
Yeah.
how do we find?
It's gonna take. We got to start with us. Start with us.
Mm-hmm.
Make a decision that you know what. I'm gonna make someone smile today. I'm gonna say something nice to someone. How many times you get on the elevator with somebody, you don't say anything?
Don't get me started.
Come on.
In Venezuela, we are very sociable. We are very tight.
Sure.
Warm. I would say every person.
That's
And
so
you know what's
ridiculous.
worse? I lost that too. Now I look awkward. Stop doing it. And now with the mask, but I lost that because I kind of adapted.
Start doing it again, Carrie. It starts with you.
Well, no. We tend to hug. I don't do that.
Oh, you can't hug people to.
I can't hug people. Yeah, it's like kissing in the cheek. But you can do that.
But I think it loses our, I don't know how you create our connection.
Well, because contrary to popular belief, people need people. We were not meant to be alone. That's why solitary confinement in prison is a punishment. It's a punishment.
Oh, yeah.
Because human beings are not meant to be alone. Period.
We're supposed to be in tribes.
Yes.
We're back in
Absolutely. So it's one of those things where we got to get back to it. I'm going to start saying good morning to everyone that I see on the elevator. It's only 3 floors, so we don't go that far. But when I go to the other buildings, my mud meeting is tomorrow, and it's like 30 floors. Good morning. But I usually speak to people. I don't usually have an issue with it, but I'm gonna make a more conscious effort in doing better.
That's one of the things that I felt when I came to the States. It was very cold in the sense of you don't know who your neighbor's name is.
That part.
Yeah.
Because you don't talk to your neighbors. You can at least wave. In my neighborhood, I went, hey, what's going on? Now I'm active in the neighborhood.
I grew up, my grandma would take me to the neighbor's house. You know, when you get she's got an avocado plant, and the avocados in Venezuela are this big.
Are you serious?
So we would go every other week to visit, and he's like, oh, let's hang out. To this day, I don't know what my neighbor's name is. I just know the lady, and she's nice.
I
But
challenge
don't know her
you.
name. I am going to ask her name.
It is not December, Lord have mercy. It is February 23rd. I challenge you that you learn her name before the end of the month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just ask her. You never know.
Kindness.
It is.
And the thing is, I think you have to express it. That I love. I don't think it has to be else for your.
Actually, I think it
Be
does
to
spread
every-
out of it because you're not just with them 24 hours a day. That's just the language that you speak. So if it happens to be those words of affirmation or, the physical touch, which is, kind of dicey
I
now.
am by physical touch.
Those things you kind of got to be careful with them, how they come across. So I'm with you. I'm going to do better. I'm going to do better. It's going to start with me. I'm not going to blame anybody else. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to do better. I got a closing today, and I might hug everybody. Say, come give me a hug. Come over here.
In the restaurant industry, I would have a lot of claims of sexual harassment
Really?
are related.
Mm,
That gray area.
Area.
You don't know where to cross the. But I stopped hugging people.
hey, guess you got
A
to.
handshake is, and not now even COVID.
Absolutely. Well, that's we didn't mean to make it a whole
Is there
mushy
time
thing,
left?
but we're going to close out with this beautiful song that I told you about. Because Everett found it, this video.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, sir.
From the, I knew it, but I'm gonna look it up because I think that would be a nice.
Absolutely. We want to do better. We want to be better. And we'll leave you with this video in wanting to connect with more people and doing a better job at it, starting with us today. So join us at the Olympian table next week, and we'll see you guys then.
I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing with me. Perfect harmony.